The Plastic Underground Starlog, April 29th, 2021. My mission was to create door panels and an intercom unit for a bathroom to help make an Enterprise NX-01 themed room. Now I've entered an unfamiliar sci-fi universe. I don't know what I'll find here, but I'm boldly going where I've never gone before. Alright, so for this project, my brother-in-law, his dad gave us a couple of old keyboards for the computer that don't work anymore. So we are harvesting some of the buttons off of those. The fastest way I found to detach the buttons is to sand the back of the solder on the belt sander here to flatten all the solder out. And then the stems just pop right out. I was going to try to save that board, but it didn't work out, so it's alright. So then you just pop the keys out. Then I used this little file to file the letters away. I tried to use acetone and alcohol, and that didn't work. I think they're like laser etched in, so I just sanded them. Here I am moving the stems off the back, just pulling them off and flattening them down. Then I sprayed all the keys with some gloss paint, some sealer, just to make them shine. Then I start working on the long door panel. So I'm using some 10mm floor mat foam for this. I was gonna use. I struggled to figure out what I wanted to use. I was gonna use wood. I was gonna try to make these like look hard, like with wood or plastic. But I make everything out of foam, so I decided just to make it out of foam, and it came out really good. You wouldn't really even be able to tell the difference, honestly. So here I'm using my pattern to mark out where I want the holes for the keys. These holes are cut like a little bit bigger than the key themselves, obviously, so that they can recess and come back up. The reason I wanted to use keyboard keys is because I wanted that clicking noise, and I wanted you to actually be able to push the buttons and actually be able to interact with the panels themselves. I figured that would be a lot more fun than just a static wall prop. So then now I'm cutting out the I believe it's like the thumbprint scanner. These are all from Star Trek Enterprise. This is my brother-in-law's favorite Star Trek series. So we're doing a bathroom remodel, and so we were working on some painting and doing some panels, and I wanted to do some cool like actual panels and intercom type things from the show. So I cut that out of 5mm foam, and I put that piece of plastic on the back. That's just some 2-liter soda bottle. You've seen me use that before. I just sand the back of it. What I did this time though is I didn't paint it or anything. I left the white foam in the background, so the white foam shows through, because all of the screens are white anyway. So I just left them like that. So then I put a piece of 2mm foam on the back so that the keys have somewhere to glue onto. And then I go through, sand everything smooth, kind of bevel the edges. Using some Burner Monkey Rapid Fill. Not Burner Monkey, Prop Monkey Studios Rapid Fill. I've used this stuff before. I like to use it on anything that's going to be super smooth. Anything that kind of looks like metal, I like to use it on so that it has a smooth finish. You can put multiple layers of this stuff on, and then you can sand it smooth and then buff it. and it gives your top layer of paint a really nice, smooth surface to go onto. So with those done, I am working on the actual intercom. I bevel a long edge at a 45 degree, and then I go back through and I get that lined up so that it's a thin piece, and I cut a straight 90 degree straight piece off of that. And what these will be the bevels for the screen. I used 6mm foam for these because they stand up a little bit higher than the base layer itself. So the base layer is cut out of 5mm, and these bevels are cut out of 6, so you have a 1mm height difference. I glued these down into then I took my razor pen, and then the corners I cut 45 degree angles off of them, and then I cut 45s off the next piece, and they just to match the corners up there. Then I go through and I bevel the intercom itself. This is pretty tricky to get 100%. That's why I go through with the rotary tool and clean it up after. You could try to do this when you cut the piece out originally. Instead of cutting it out square, you could cut it out with the bevel. The only reason I don't do that is because I want the size to be 100% right. Sometimes if you cut with the bevel line, it will cut further or shorter to your actual size dimension. So then I take some 2mm craft foam, I cut circles out. These go on the intercom and that thumbprint. These are some alcohol drinks that my wife bought a long time ago. They're called what was that? Tutors, and they are shaped kind of like a test tube. So what I did is I just cut the bottoms off because they're round and they're plastic, like clear. So I figured these would work pretty good for these little caps, these little light caps. You can see here now I'm going through with some blue paint in my airbrush, and I'm just giving the inside a quick color, and I spray a layer on the outside too. That way they look blue, but they also still look transparent. So then I go through with some light gray paint that I mixed up, and I paint all of the faces. The tall door panel and the intercom both are this color gray. It would have been a lot easier if I painted the sides black first instead of after, so I didn't have to try to detail up to the top, but that's alright. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. The hard part was painting that the bevels for that screen. They're black too. That was trying to paint those was got pretty tricky, but you just gotta go slow, have a little bit of patience, which coming from me saying something as I have zero patience, except for when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I guess. So here now I'm using some just black, and I am doing the sides here, all the detail side pieces. So I paint the bottoms first, and then I go in with a smaller like detail brush to paint right up to the edge of the top there, just so I don't get any over paint. The thumbprint scanner is all black, so that was pretty easy. You just get to slap some black paint on here. The only place that you have to detail is the inside of the screen there, where it meets the screen. So now I'm using my Cricut, cutting out some vinyl for some of the details of the panel line. I could have painted these. I also could have made a stencil, but I decided to do how, just do it how you would if it was a real panel. So I wanted to actually use vinyl. Plus, I bought this Cricut and I hardly ever use it for a project. There's not really a lot of projects I do that I could use like stencils and stuff on. So I finally had a chance to do it, so I did it, and the result is really good. It looks way more professional than if I were to paint it or stencil it on there. You can tell that it's vinyl, and then it makes the whole thing look more realistic, in my opinion. But obviously, if you don't have a Cricut or a vinyl cutter, just use some painter's tape and tape this off and paint it by hand, and it would still look great. Especially for lettering and stuff, the Cricut really comes in handy for all that kind of stuff. Not only is that stuff super tedious to paint, it's pretty hard to get lined up and make it look super good. Especially with all these keys. All these keys get numbers, so it was definite, in my opinion, that I was going to use the Cricut for this. We didn't yeah, so the other keys that are supposed to be white, I just sprayed a layer of flat white on, and then those get black vinyl numbers on them, obviously, so you can see it. So here is the thumbprint scanner. You can see here the buttons are working. And then the communicator, or the intercom, sorry, I actually wired a LED into the globe there, so you can actually have it light up when you use the intercom. I found out that the keyboard keys are like a momentary switch, so you can actually use them to wire like electrically, like they work as a momentary switch. So when you push them in, it makes a contact. That's how the keys work on the computer, which is kind of cool that you can use it for other stuff too. So here I am in the bathroom, and I'm installing these onto the wall. It's kind of hard to do when you're holding the phone and trying to use hot glue and not burn yourself, and also stick them on there. So that's how those go on the bathroom wall. These are like the key entry, thumbprint entry for the door. And they're pretty fun to play with. The intercom is going over on this wall. This wall will eventually have a shelf with some ammo and that other rifle that I built on a previous video. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the templates. If you're a Star Trek fan, please use them. They're pretty cool. So I will see you guys next week. Thanks for stopping by.